I'm back again. Yep. I said I would curb information and come back to it later. And when I am aware of what's going on in the information processing, I typically zero in on the picture of purpose. Uh, and there are times that something will come up and try to disrupt that flow. Myself will say, not right now, later, and it will keep knocking at my door and knocking at my door until I address and say, yes, I am here, I am ready to receive your information in a conducive manner. Uh, and because I am remaining open to the information and coming through, it's channeling. It's channeling. It's channeling. Um, but brainwaves, brainwaves, brainwaves. We have different levels of brainwave activity. Remember, I said frequency. Our brain waves act on a frequency of their own when we are in a sleep mode, a meditated mode, or a task mode, and coming out of that task mode or completion of that task mode into what we would like to call a break, a breather, a rest period. Um, if you are not taking your breaks when you are working because you're trying to problem solve, you have problems that have come into your purview and you're trying to solve problems, you're using up energy to solve those problems in active brainwaves. And if you're not taking your breather on it, you can introduce a form of stress, overload, stress overload. It is necessary because our physical bodies need rest. If it doesn't get the rest or break period that it needs to have to take in the information, problem solve, and then provide a solution, and we move on to the next box without actually taking a breather or a break, it can stress us out even after we feel good about completing it, and the completion of it was far more exceeded than the expectation of being requested for. Um, take your break. I was one of those persons that thought money was important, and the only way I could make money is if I'm still working. I was ignoring my body's need for the rest, and I would just push through that format, push it onto the side, ignore it, and keep working. Uh, Retail, security, um, even in my own job of landscaping that I'm the boss of. And I think I know better, and I'm like, no, I'm going to work through instead of take a lunch to reset. Um, I would come home and I would show the signs of being exhausted, not interactive with my family, um, not attentive to what is being spoken or shared, and it came off as their input wasn't important enough for them to receive it to me, and so they stopped sharing about their day. When I became conscious of that, I decided a break is necessary because I don't want to elicit that when someone comes to me, whether it's family or someone else, that I am too exhausted to care about your day. I fully care about your day. And I want to be able to be as respectful, observant, and responsive in a positive manner. When you are low on rest or low in activity of energy, you jump into reactionary state where you can elicit maybe not so far down on the frequency of eliciting anger or frustration or inattentiveness, but you're still dropping down below your normal rhythm of frequency. And your normal rhythm of frequency is when people are typically coming to share something with you. And not taking the conscious effort to rise up in frequency to be able to. And if you did that without taking your break in your day, you will be jumping through frequencies purposely, and you will be taxing your body, you'll be taxing your emotions, you'll be taxing your mental field. Take your break. It is absolutely crucial that you take your break. I know in this world people will tell you that you have to keep going to make money. Understand, your health is more important than the obtainment of money. Your health is more important than the obtainment of money that robs you of your health. Let's restructure that. Making money is not a bad thing. How you make money can be, even when you are unconsciously aware of it, because you have a limited belief that you have to make money to survive, which is not true at all. If you were to live in the wild, nature would provide you with food that was adequate to sustain you. But we are conditioned to believe that the only way that we can survive is if we have food, shelter, water, and sometimes that shelter becomes very glamorous and put more perspective into of having a need of rather than a survival mechanism of. So let's just say in this context of the use of money, your health is more important than just working straight through and not taking a break. Because it's going to cost you more money if you don't take a break and that stress builds up and now you have to go to the hospital. Take your break. Okay? This is me giving you approval to take your break. Brainwaves. There are different levels of brainwaves that your brain activity will go through. Okay? And you will put yourself into these brainwave activities when you are working, when you are resting, taking your break, when you are meditating, when you are sleeping, when you might go into a physically unconscious state, which is perceived as a coma, where you are non-reactive to physical stimuli because your mindscape is elsewhere. And at that same time, your body is trying to repair itself. Not giving it enough adequate time to repair itself can have some complications. You need your sleep. You should have an adequate amount of sleep per night. And I do understand that there are times that you will have restless periods of the night. It can be cultivated from having a job that required you to work odd hours, and you created a bio clock that your body operates at a different time of the day, right? And so when everyone else is sleeping, you might be working. But now when you have that day off, you might not be sleeping at the time that you actually should be sleeping. And at the time that everyone else is sleeping, you might be up doing activity because that's how you trained your body to be. It will take time to reset that clock. And when I say time, I'm not saying time as you can measure how long it's going to take. If we measure time as in how long it might take, it could be today, it could be a week from now, it could be a year from now. When you take the consciousness of time out, you're not stressed by the anxiety of the idea of time. When you focus on time and you're looking at your body and not seeing it heal, you're utilizing the idea of time and slowing down the process because you are stressing based on time when you think it should heal. You have a wound. You know there was a wound. Cool. Put it out of your field of vision. It will heal. It will accelerate in healing when you take it out of your field of vision. Keep bringing it in your field of vision and it will take longer to heal. Because you, the conscious observer, are slowing the process of it healing. In the brainwaves, you have delta, theta, you have alpha, beta, and gamma waves. In the delta wave, that's when you are in deep sleep. Okay, this is probably going to be for maybe a short period of time that you are actually in deep sleep. In the deep sleep, this is what improves your immunity, decreases the stress load that you have taken on in your physical body, in your emotional body, in your mental body. Okay. In the theta waves, it's in a meditative state. Okay. Which you can go into sleep as well at normal sleep time and still access theta waves. The difference is in meditative state, you are consciously intending to jump into that frequency of brainwave when an aspect has come up that you're trying to get clarity out. In that you're going to get memory retrieval. And in that memory retrieval, you're not reactive to. Okay? The intention isn't to react to the memory coming out. The intention is to get clarity on the memory recall and see it from an objective perspective rather than a subjective in perception. Okay. You might even induce it when you do Tai Chi or breathing exercises. You might induce it when doing yoga, a physical activity. Excuse me. Sorry. Into the theta waves. This is you coming to your mind field and your emotional field creating heart and mind coherence, and seeing the snapshot image come back out, and you are cultivating an answer from within you to solve that snapshot memory. Okay? In gamma, that's when you are alert. You are awake during this time frame. You are moving around, etc., etc. This I like to call your task mode point. So this is where you're problem solving. Something comes into your awareness, and regardless who brings it to you, or you see it from something that you are perceiving, and you shift into task mode. Task mode is problem solving from the thing that pops up. All right. In this fully alert status, you're trying to solve what looks like a problem. It also helps with the clarity when you are consciously awake. It helps with the clarity of the problem. If you are stressed while doing the task, you may not have clarity of what's going on. You may just have a narrow vision of the problem that is cycling the stress through your body. The stress is going through your circulatory system of your bodies. And I say bodies because it's not just your physical body that the stress is cycling through. It's also your emotional body and your mental body. When you are driving, you're accessing gamma waves. You are doing a physical activity that requires an alertness. Some people driving, they slip out of that wave and go into theta wave because they're thinking of something else elsewhere, and now their attention of alertness in gamma has shifted to a different brainwave, and can lead to an undesirable circumstance. That's why it's best to not use meditation tapes or frequencies while driving or operating machinery, because it will bring you out of alert wave to a theta wave. And then that theta, again, that's relax mode, break mode, rest mode. Okay. In alpha, you are taking your break, your rest. Okay. You're looking at the information that has come through. You're looking at learning through the information. Okay. I bring a problem to you, right? In that moment that I have brought you a problem, your brain activity that is registering the physical component of stimuli is now jumping through brainwave activity as the electrical impulses in your brain are moving at lightning speeds. Okay? It's going to be clarity, it's going to be memory, it's going to be learning. If a child in school or an adult in school is in class being taught by a teacher and they're not in the right mode for being receptive of that learning, a block is going to come with that learning, and they're not going to get the information. It's not going to make sense to them, even though you know you had taught them. If they write it down on a piece of paper, they know that they wrote something down on a piece of paper and they can come back to. That's why it's encouraged to write notes when you're in class, because sometimes you jump through brainwaves and you might not actually register all the information. You're absorbing the information, but you're not registering the information for recall. Don't even worry about the... actually, no. It's coming through. It's flowing, so I'm going to bring it up again. Anxiety of tests. You end up... Either you are calm in theta, right, as you are taking the test, because you are confident from your preparedness to take the test. But now, let's introduce another stress of stimuli and ask you to perform for a pop quiz. Now that pop quiz, you might have been able to absorb all the information, and you're one student that absorbs everything and can recall something, while another student in the class doesn't have that capacity or that quickness to absorb and recall. And now that became an anxiety for that student in the same class that's being taught the same material, wrote their notes, but now there's a pop quiz because you induced a stimuli of stress, because you wanted to see if they were paying attention and they could recall what you taught them. Teachers, be patient with the students. They are learning from their capacity, not learning from your capacity. You can't put your years of experience into a young child's mind and expect them to have the same functionality. That doesn't mean to discourage you from teaching them. That means to have the compassion and patience and understanding that not all persons learn the same way. Adults are still learning. College kids are still learning. Once you go into the workforce, you're still learning. You never stop learning. But you are the foundation of what they build upon and everything that you bring into it. If this isn't saying not to do pop quizzes, I'm saying this is to be aware of what pop quizzes can do. And they build that upon the stimuli of it, the anxiety of it, the unpreparedness of it. So, like I said, stimuli and circumstances are neither good nor bad. It's just how they are received in that moment and what they get attached to with a label or resource identity and shifted into their file cabinet. Their file cabinet is still growing. Your file cabinet might be longer. In brainwaves, we access different wavelengths. Okay? And in that sleep mode of brainwaves, we also access what's called dreams. A dreamscape. Dreamscape is you observing what's happening in the dream, but taking no conscious effort of activity of what's going on in the dream. You're just observing. When you are in dream weaving, you are dreaming of what you are observing and taking conscious action to either see it and change it or keep it as is and then dismiss it. Alright? When you are weaving, you have the potential to change that A lot of times in our dreams, memories will pop up. And when we aren't getting the message in our physical body, we get the message in our dream body as we access higher dimensions of reality. If it's not getting addressed in a conducive manner, it's going to show up in another portion of our body. We are multi-bodied bodies. Okay. You might have a nightmare. A nightmare is not to make you afraid of the thing. A nightmare is because you hold a belief of that thing with a potentiality for it to occur. Remember, like attracts to like, and what you are within you, you will attract into your physical, into your emotional, and into your mind field. And your mind field will project in your dreams as you hold the belief of that thing. So if someone told you that this image was demonic or angelic, and they gave you a picture, you now have a reference. And now you have an association to that reference. And as you go into the dream that is trying to help you solve what you hold within you, gets the label of a nightmare. Because you're taught that that's bad and this is good. And you absorb that as is because you didn't have the knowledge or the knowing that it's neither good nor bad. It's how you hold it within you. Archetypes. Carl Jung, in the psychology community, described archetypes. The personas that we adopt. When we are not conscious of the personas that we adopt, we tend to project them into our dreams. And we see as it's a reflection in our dreams, because in our dreams it doesn't require a physical body to produce. Because in the dreamscape, it's not a physical plane, it's a dimensional plane. And it has the freedom to show you what you hold as an archetype within you. You can do your due diligence on what archetypes are. I'm not going to go through each one of them and break them down, because I want you to actually do the work to understand what I am speaking. I'm not going to feed you the answers. I'm going to give you the resources and tools for you to go and do your research, for you to absorb the information, put it down, come back to it, put it down, meditate on it, come back to it, reread it, meditate again. Yes, because in meditation, that's when you get clarity. You don't get a lot of clarity in normal realm, three-dimensional realm, because everything's vying for your attention. You can't slow down long enough if you haven't taught yourself to do the slow down part of the physical body. So it's vibrating at the expected speed that it's been conditioned to vibrate at. But in the dream world, you are accessing both, or you are accessing all parts of the mind field. You are accessing the consciousness, you're accessing the subconscious, which is below awareness, and then you're accessing the unconscious mind, which is having no awareness, no conscious awareness of, but you hold within you. I didn't know I was going to go that much into detail. But you could tell when I get excited about something because it's just a flowing. It just keeps going. um, but your brain waves are measured in hertz, and as you drift, as instruments are attached to you, they are recording the brainwave activity, and when it's observed from someone that's observing the activity going on, you'll see spikes going up and down, right? That the brainwave is not the spikes going up and down, it's the information that is occurring while you are in that state. They also have tested documents and case studies of adding frequencies. Frequencies mimic brainwave activity, in which in the use of sound resonance, you can bring yourself into rest just by listening to the sound frequency. Your body will assimilate, or yourself will assimilate to that sound frequency so that it comes together in harmony. At first, you may have a disharmony and be like, "Ooh, I don't want to hear that," even though it might be a soft, soothing sound coming towards you. It's because it's alerting you, vibrating you, and when you are aware of the fluctuation of energy that's happening around you, you might put up a defensive block and not want to go any further, which is completely normal because, again, we typically are concerned about that which we don't know because of historical references of what has happened because of people not knowing. Someone might come while you're listening to nature frequencies. Nature frequencies might be more their forte versus a certain brainwave, certain sound frequency that registers with your brainwave to put yourself in calm mode, put yourself in meditative mode, put yourself in receiving mode, put yourself in healing mode. Yes, sound frequencies can activate your innate capacity to heal yourself. Again, it's a tool resource that assists you in healing yourself, not someone else healing you. Remember that. Don't go out there looking for a healer. Even shamanic practices, the person is not going out, is not coming to heal you. They might do an aspect of resource or tool in their arsenal to help you come back into resonance and balance you out to a certain degree. Again, they're not taking on what is yours to be responsible for. They're just helping you come through the garbage that you have absorbed and been conditioned to. We can go into shamanic practices later on. I am very, very well versed in the practice and applying of shamanic activities. Also, there is no certifying body to be a shaman. It is through experience and practice of what you already have that culminates out of you, and you are then given the task mode to help other persons. A shaman comes in every shape and form. Every single person who does the work of getting help for themselves to help themselves become better is a shaman. Let that sink in. Yeah, I was astonished too. I was even more astonished when it was brought up to spirit animals and how we take on the characteristics of animals in our environment. But what we were actually doing is projecting the characteristics of animals in our environment. Oh yeah, that goes deep. that will probably require you to do a lot of research to get a good firm understanding of how everything connects. Everything connects. It don't matter if it's a leaf over here on this tree branch and then you're a leaf over here on this tree branch. It connects. Doesn't matter if you're a tree over here with your tree branches over here and there's a tree over here with its tree branches. They connect, even in the empty space. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I hope that uh, the help with understanding brainwaves, dreamscaping, dreamweaving, and the archetypes of introducing you to the term archetypes so you can go and do your due diligence and culminate a calm mind of the information. I love you. Be well.